Okay, you have a
I
motion
make a
to-
motion to open the meeting at 6 p.m.
Okay, Second, anyone?
Second it.
Okay.
All those in favor, Jay,
Yes.
Mary Lou,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
and me. Unanimous. Now, to be honest, I have a little checklist here.
I did the same thing.
So I can keep track of. who I'm
Exactly,
asking
yeah.
whether-
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay, the next is the review of the minutes. And I have two small items. One is we say the session was not recorded. Was it recorded last time?
So I'll include that.
Yeah, just check out,
Oh,
was
cool.
recorded. And then. The other larger problem involves Federal Pacific panels,
Did I get that wrong?
electrical,
Oh, okay.
right?
No, wasn't that the brand, Federal Pacific, and their
Yeah.
electrical panels?
Okay, so, but they're electrical.
Yes,
That's-
they're electrical
Yeah.
panels, but that's their,
Okay.
That's the name, I think.
Any other comments on the minutes?
No, I think Nancy, you did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
super.
Oh, thank you.
Very thorough.
Yeah.
I make a motion to
Except
approve
for
the
one
minutes
that's-
as amended.
Any second?
I second.
I'm sorry, who made that motion?
Kathy.
Kathy?
Thank you.
I second it.
Okay, approval, Jay,
Yes.
Mary Lou,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bob. Yes. Okay. Next is Mary Lou. Yeah, Mary Lou?
Yeah. I sent you, the two things. I sent you two things. There was the monthly report, which looks very different. For me, when I printed it, I actually get 2 pages. I don't know if you got 2 pages. I don't know how it reacts when I send it on a PDF. But I got 2 pages on mine, which before I was able to access more than that, but it never printed more than one. And but it's a little different looking. The interface is different than what we've had. But you know, it shows our numbers from the beginning of the year to the end of April. What am I talking about? September. And you know, the numbers, you know, had improved in that time frame, so that was good. And then I also sent you a consolidated statement, which actually is 4 pages, and I don't know. Darcy seemed to think she was able to get all the pages.
I got 4.
yeah.
I got all the pieces.
Did you
All the
get
pages
4
came
pages in
through.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, good. I mean, I'm glad it's coming through differently. Maybe they've done something because it seems like before, no matter what I did, the only way I can get it to you and you can all read it is to send it on a PDF format. But it seemed like it always froze it on one page. So it's nice that you can get them all, you know. And so the consolidated statement is 4 pages. And so you know, that's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of specific information. And so that's I'm glad you were able to see all that.
It's nice to see
So-
it's in our balance.
Huh?
It's nice.
Just
to
the
see
balance, I
it's in our
know, and the
balance.
balance is good. I mean, especially if you compare it to the beginning of the year. So
Now, what's the difference between the 2 reports? Is one
is the monthly, but it looks different. I mean, this is, I'm assuming this is the new format. It's 2 pages and it's a newer format. It's that one sheet that I given you every single month.
Right.
This one here was another one. It was a consolidated report. I mean, that's what they call it. It gives it just gives specific things about all the specific companies that we're invested in, that our trust funds are invested in. So the second page and the third page show all of those specific things, which we don't get on this one.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get a consolidated report every month or if this is just a one-time thing. I have no idea. But anyway,
I think the second report is what we discuss every month, so.
no, this first report is what we discuss every month. But it's just a different format. 'Cause all of a sudden the format has changed. Yeah,
So you know if you're gonna get both reports every month, or?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. It'll
So
be
we'd
an
have to check
adventure.
that.
It'll be an adventure. We'll have to wait and see what
An
happens.
adventure.
Choose your own adventure thing.
Who knows? Yeah, we'll just see what happens. But anyway, so I got all this, all this interesting stuff. I'm just glad you can read it all. I mean, before, like you say, everything would freeze on one page and that would be the end of it. I never could figure out how to get it to do anything else, but this just seemed to work. I mean, 2
Yeah.
pages on this one and 4 on this one, and you guys got them all?
Yeah, well, the other
That's
report we
great.
used to send, it was like a big spreadsheet,
Yeah.
and end of it I was never able to get it printed out, and I shrunk it, and it's still.
Oh.
So
Well,
that was going,
there's Darcy has a copy of this and she can make copies and she also has copies of this that we copied this the other day when I was in there and so you can make a copy of this if you want to. It's in the file in Darcy's office. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So I have nothing else other than that.
okay, want to vote to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Okay, is there a
Second,
Jay? Yes. Mary Lou,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kathy,
yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bob. Ta-da.
Ta-da. I guess since I have it up already, I'll share the screen. I was like, it must be, I remember there was something that I was projecting, so well. All right. I hope everybody can see this lovely screen share.
Yeah, I can see.
Yep, looks good.
All right, cool. As you can see, I did the layout for the circ statistics. As you can see, everything was up from a year ago. So that is good. And
Good numbers.
our physical item circs are high, higher than both August 2022 and July of this year. So that's positive. And some of these numbers, especially with Hoopla and Canopy and Overdrive, they fluctuate because they're online things. Some of them depend on how many there are limits to how many people can check out. So I think these are good numbers for that, even if some of them were down. Canopy was up, as you can see.
Yeah.
Any questions about that? Okay.
Darcy, I saw that you're doing a program with a COA on ebooks.
Yes, I'm doing that Monday morning.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
just wanted to
be...
congratulate you on doing that.
Thank you. I'm putting together a nice slideshow and hopefully helping whoever's there get onto Libby. So that will be hopefully
Excellent.
result in positive things for everybody.
Wonderful turnout for the reading wrap up.
Yes, it was a very, very busy time, but it was a great turnout. And just overall, summer reading in general, both the adult and children's both had very, very good participation. Sorry, I can't speak today. So you can see other standout programming. The
Excellent.
programming totals were fantastic. Any questions about those? Okay, museum passes, those were up. I think it was 17 in July, so that is a jump
Right.
from 17 to
24.
30. Yeah.
The aquarium seems to always be the best.
People love it.
Yeah.
People love it. So those for up. Any questions about those?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll read the warrants. 2405 was $11,371.75. 2407 was $343.30. The total was $11,715.05. And most of 2405 was the first big book order of the fiscal year. So that's why that was up. That was Ingram.
Excellent.
State aid and heiress update. The heiress is sent in and completed. The financial report, Bob just signed the front page, so I will be scanning in the front page and compliance report and sending that in to Weichi tomorrow, either morning or afternoon, depending on when I get the chance to do it. Everything will be turned in by tomorrow.
Good.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right, any questions about any of those? All right, so I included some things that Chair Bob wanted me to include here. I don't have a flooring update. It is moving slowly, and I see Steve almost every day and Rebecca periodically, and there hasn't been any movement yet. But of course, when there is, once I hear any word about anything, everybody will know. So
Quite frankly, it's no surprise.
no,
It's a difficult process.
exactly. So there it is. It's in writing. LSTA grant. We're not spending money until October 1st. And I think all of the presenters and speakers actually know that. I think Bergen's communicated that to them. So we don't actually have to worry about that part. I signed, Rebecca and Ellen and I all signed the contract yesterday. So
Which contract is this?
it's the contract to receive the grant.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that is officially turned in, and we should be getting it as of October 1st. So I'll have more of an update in October, especially with what some plans that we can jump into, which will be nice. So any questions about either of those? Okay. I'm gonna stop that share. Okay.
What does
That's
it
what I have
mean?
for my report.
Good.
Yeah,
What does it mean on Darcy? It says, I have sent in information about library specific movers, both on state contract and not. What does what does that mean? Yeah.
when vendors are on a specific state contract, they don't have to go through we don't have to go through the bidding process to hire them.
Okay.
So they I think they purchase that contract, if I'm correct. But we don't have to go through that. These are the 3 vendors we want to try to choose. And so I think I sent in information about 3, and either
Okay.
1 or 2 of them have state contracts.
Oh,
I
so
think
in one night not, and that's what and not means.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Okay, all right. That's what I
Yes.
was confused about. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I was
Yeah.
like, maybe Lou, of course you know.
It was the and not that kind of had me
Yeah, so
confused.
there
Okay.
was, there were I think 3. One had a state contract that was currently under renewal, and I wrote that into the email to Rebecca as well. One was definitely available as state contract and one didn't have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
just a more streamlined process if you have them already approved through state contract
Yes,
for hiring them, because you don't have to go out to bid.
yes, exactly.
And that's
When
not just
we-
for the library, it's for a lot of, we do it at the housing authority also.
It's very true. When we purchased the shelving that's in the back hallway and in the staff office, that was done through Donegan, and Donegan is on state contract. So we didn't have to go through bidding, even though that was over the threshold. So
Oh,
that
good.
was
Right,
very
yeah.
beneficial for anybody who doesn't know that.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't know that. Okay.
Question.
Oh.
You gave us the totals for state aid. Could you give me a refresher course on how the state determines what libraries get the state aid? I know it's tied into.
It's
activity,
a certain amount of cents per circulation.
and circulation means,
The items that get checked in and checked out and renewed.
okay, and then I think we mentioned it doesn't include online, or it doesn't include.
I think it does. I think the Libby stuff is eligible. I don't think our special things that like Hoopla and Canopy are, because we buy into that ourselves.
So I just got a book today, so this would be counted.
Yes, though that's an interlibrary loan. It might
Yeah.
cover the other library, but
And I'm not like,
I'm not sure. But it's a circulation number.
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, and the amount that they have to pick from is state determined. So that can change every year. Depends on legislation.
Now their budgets.
Yes, exactly. State budgets.
Any discussion? I'll ask, do we need to vote on this? I don't think so. Okay, next up is the director's evaluation form. And I was getting a little carried away last time we had a discussion on this. And let me explain where I was coming from. In the business world, if you're looking at 30,000 feet, someone with the title director doesn't get evaluated on her relationship with staff per se, and what she does with attendance and all that sort of thing. She gets evaluated on the job that she gets done. That's the high level of it. However, in a situation like ours, Stacy Darcy functions as a director and as a supervisor and as whatever, a little keep track of the little things of the thing. So I look at what we're doing now, and I get troubled when we evaluate someone on about 1,000 different check boxes, because it's very, very difficult to do. So having said that, I have no problem going ahead with what we already have done. However, I would make one big suggestion on all the little check boxes that we do. There's two issues I have with it. None of them are weighted, so you don't know the value of them. And they're so fragmented, it's hard to do. And the other thing is, we're the board of directors, and some of us have very little interaction with what goes on in the library. So it's very difficult to fill out some of these things. And so we need something that says, I don't know, but I would like to find out. So my other suggestion to maybe simplify this thing is, we have the spreadsheet with all the categories, and people evaluate it. And then for each category, item 1, 2, 3, if you want to check it on your own, but give me an average for that particular category. So you would weigh in on that.
I agree with you, Bob, and a lot of it. There's a lot of things that there's no way the trustees could really measure performance on. But the comment that comments are required for all sections. Why? and that doesn't really make any sense, and I would fill it out without providing comments, because I don't think that any trustee is there full-time to, and shouldn't be there full-time, to comment on every bit of this. And maybe what's important to one trustee wouldn't be as important or carry the same weight as it does with another trustee. It just doesn't. A lot of it is. I thought this was going to be a simplified form, and I think it's a far more complicated.
That was probably based on.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, pull it up, because I'm not.
I think it is simplified. Number one,
Really.
there's only 4 categories now. There are categories for everything, and there's also I don't know or not applicable is also available to your question, Bob.
Right.
And the comments, it's not required for each one. I think it's if you have a specific comment that's going to back up how you rated the director.
Oh, well, that's not what it says. It says comments are required for all sections.
Oh, wait a minute.
Where does it say that?
On the front page, first paragraph, last line of the first paragraph. Required, not suggested.
I'm still
required.
not seeing them. I'm still not seeing
Okay,
that.
go down to section 1, definitions of ratings.
Yeah.
And the very last line of that, it says you may rate using 5. I don't,
Got another copy.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
that
okay.
doesn't make a lot of sense
Okay.
either, but comments are required for all sections.
Well, we could certainly, I wouldn't have no problem saying comments
Yeah.
are not
Suggested,
required, but yeah, I'm sorry, I
but not
couldn't find what you're
required.
talking about. No, I
Have
don't
you found
know.
it?
Yep, I found it. Thank
Okay.
you. So that was in the original one
Exactly.
that we
That's
had
what
before.
we were following the model that was given by the town. And in the town one, that's what it said. So I think that's how it got carried through.
Yeah, in the town, it's people that work together on a daily basis, so that would be different.
So
But I
you wanna
certainly think comments
put
are
the option
important.
for comments,
Comments are encouraged.
Yeah.
or there's
Welcome.
Let's
spaces provided for
let's
comments.
back up a little bit.
you
If
wanna-
you read the whole statement, I think it's confusing. You may rate using 5. Comments are required for all sections, and that to me could mean that you use a 5, which we don't have.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that out.
There's no such thing as a 5.
Well, there's.
And also, I
5
thought
points here.
one thing that would be, when I had brought up organization, and it seemed to be
It says I
not
don't know.
clear what I meant the general organization of the library, to be rated on that, with having a new system set in, new shelving, new placement, new type of that. I think organization is very important, because that's visual to anyone who enters the library.
Can we just stick with what we were talking about first, Kathy?
Sure, we
Just-
can go on to that next if it's simpler.
Yeah, no, that'd be helpful, just because
Yeah.
it looks like that sentence is kind of a typo
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Because it's got using .5 and then comments are required, and then there's no period. So it looks like
Right.
might have
right.
been cut and pasted. So we can certainly work on redefining that.
Yeah. That might make it clearer.
They comments are welcome instead of.
Mhm.
I think that in the
Makes
original,
sense.
and I noticed when I was teaching, it's the same thing. If you give somebody the highest rating, then you need to explain why you're giving them the highest rating. That's where that came from. But that doesn't apply here, I don't.
Conversely, if we give the lowest rating,
You do the same.
I would say you must
Yeah,
say something
yeah,
on that.
exactly.
So I think we should take out the required.
And just welcome, just put welcome, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is that you may rate using? Can we get rid of that too?
Yeah, it doesn't fit in there.
Well, there's 5 categories. I think that's where it comes from.
Right. You may rate
Yeah.
using 0.5 point, but that's already clear in the explanation of the rating numbers.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary that there's a comment for every section, but I do think it is important to put a comment in, like a specific instance that you've observed, or just to back up the number scheme.
Yep.
Is helpful.
be good to go with us?
So, yeah, but there was something Kathy wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right,
Kathy had
and
it
I
on
had
the-
brought up, I think it was it the last meeting or the meeting before that? I can't even
Last
remember
one.
now.
You
Yeah,
brought up-
last one.
Okay, about putting a section where it would be organization of the library. I think that that's something that a lot of patrons come in and that's what they look at. Is it confusing? Is it organizational cleaning, organization, neatness, that type of thing? And it wouldn't necessarily be the job of the director, but it would be at her direction for staff too.
Yeah, delegation of that.
Yes, yeah, that's the word I was trying to think of.
So I looked on the ALA and the only one, their evaluation, and the only one that looked like it might connect with that is an item that says employs management techniques effectively in directing, planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, budgeting, and evaluating. I mean, that's really broad, but it had organizing in there, so I picked it out.
Yeah. So I think that's covered in other areas on the evaluation form. But what I was talking about was what I just said.
I would think that if that's an issue, we would not be sitting here discussing it as part of an evaluation. We would be acting upon it right away. I mean, that's a.
Well, it would be hard to act on it without it being rated in the evaluation and discussed further. But
I don't agree with that. If we, as a board, if we see something that's an issue, we don't want to wait till next year's evaluation to address the issue. We do it.
oh, definitely. But
Yeah,
to put it in the evaluation would be a heads up.
Kathy, are you thinking maybe, like, would it be under building management? I mean, is it
Probably,
main-
yeah. I would think,
Yeah.
that's where I would put it. Yeah.
So could kind of have a subcategory of, you know, building is aesthetically pleasing or whatever, and then another
Exactly.
one,
Yes, that's
another one
exactly what
for, okay, and maybe another one communicates well with, building, the building supervisor, I forget what is,
the maintenance. Yes.
yeah, the maintenance staff or something like, I don't know. That, it seems to me that what
Excellent. I
you're
think
saying
that's
is,
a great plan, and that would be it takes effective communication between the cleaning and repair staff and the director, and I think they do have a good communication. But I think it should be in the evaluation that something that needs to be done. He may not see. I don't know if there's going to be more people hired in that department. There possibly could be, and I think that would be a good way to frame it.
Yeah, but are we sort of addressing a problem that doesn't exist and has never existed?
No, I don't think so.
Has it ever existed? Have we ever had a problem?
Oh, the problem has existed off and on, yes, over the years.
I'm concerned, for example, does that mean that because there's still a leak in the foyer when it rains, it's the director's fault?
No, it just has nothing to do with anything nothing to do with that.
But that's aesthetically displeasing for people to come and have water drip on their heads. I mean, I don't understand.
I suppose that could be a problem,
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe the communication.
but that's
with
not, I mean,
you is,
she communicates that to town hall. We've communicated that to town hall for 30-something years. That's not what I'm referring to. I think, Darcy, do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so. I mean, it's hard for me to put into words too, but I mean, oversees or manages and communicates about the building, the interior of the library, something like that.
Right. In a small space, it's always harder to keep it neat and clean and organized. So that would be an item of the director to address with her staff and their certain departments and with maintenance.
I'm just concerned, I just think it's, I mean, with the fact that Darcy had a hard time explaining it, to me shows that it's too big a thing to try to quantify with an evaluation. It just seems like it's too vague to me.
I agree.
Okay, how can we be more specific?
Aesthetically pleasing is.
Yeah, you know, it's aesthetically pleasing to me isn't necessarily aesthetically. I mean, I like the way it looks now. Someone might walk in and say, this is a terrible setup. So who's the right person to judge about
Oh,
that?
you're gonna hate the makeover, aren't you?
I'm just saying, no, I'm using it as an example, but I'm just saying, just because I feel it looks good doesn't mean somebody else thinks it's gonna look good. I think that's too vague a concept myself.
Okay, how would you word it?
I wouldn't put it in there at all. Because it's too vague, it's too hard to quantify. When we're doing an evaluation, we're quantifying aspects of her job. And I think
That is one big aspect of her job.
right, well, see, but it's too hard to, you can't say, and I don't think there's any way to logically say what's good and what's bad. Except for personal opinion, and an evaluation should not be a personal opinion in that kind of situation.
No, it shouldn't. A lot of these
There's
items
something
on
like
here would be
maintain a
fall into that
professional
category.
and cooperative environment.
I'm sorry, Bob, I didn't hear
I'm
you.
not-
Yeah,
with that
oh, I
one
know,
either, yeah.
I know.
Maintains a professional interior of the library. I mean, you know,
I think-
No, that doesn't seem to
I
fit.
think it's an issue that's not there.
Right, I agree.
Kathy, come up with a wording so that we can all agree on.
Mary Lou, do you have any ideas?
I was just thinking like to neat and organized, neat and
Right.
just something that, yeah, not, it doesn't, something that, you know, yeah, just. That's,
That goes back to my original opening remarks. We're now getting to nitty gritty stuff. Instead of.
I don't think it's nitty gritty. I think that has a big
no,
effect on
I agree. It's
people
not
that come in
nitty-gritty
looking
if it
for
happens, but it doesn't
organization and
happen.
serenity.
I tend to agree with you, Kathy. I don't think that this is outlandish to be discussing this on an evaluation.
Okay,
Right.
Because,
give us a
well-
wording then. That's what we're struggling with. To make sense out of it.
The wording. Yeah.
might need a few different lines, like.
But it really shouldn't probably be
Is it
that
about the
big. I mean,
interior
you
safety
go in
once
and you
again,
see a
once
mess,
again?
you know, well, that shouldn't be there.
With a line
So-
with that we could use like that one?
Well,
Off
If-
the
if
top
the-
of my head,
like I
don't.
said, I think the broad category would be building oversight. I mean, Darcy is responsible for
Yeah, yep.
oversight of the building. That doesn't mean
Right.
that she's gotta go fix things or,
No.
you know, change out the light bulbs, but she is responsible to make sure that the place is safe and
Exactly.
orderly. And if there's an issue, to communicate it with the maintenance staff and take care of those problems. So.
Right, or if a certain staff member has a mess in some one area, just speak to them to neaten it up a bit so it's pleasing to the eye. I think everybody knows what pleasing to the eye would be.
Yeah.
Purple
So,
wall.
Kathy, do you think you could come up with the wording for next meeting? Or do we want to try to
I
do
think
it?
I will try. I certainly will. I'll do my best to, yes.
The only
And if
problem-
anybody has any suggestions, that
I mean,
would be
that's the
great.
best I can come up with off the top of my
But
head.
yeah, the
Yeah.
thing is, it's gonna mess up our time schedule for doing the evaluation. If we push it to
Well-
October.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
would like to get
Yeah,
it done today. And
okay.
I like the idea of just, general building organization that is vague enough and also specific enough at the same time to be able to be something that we can evaluate. I mean, if the shelves are empty and the books are scattered around, obviously there's something wrong. The building organization, that seems to be a good way to cover it, to me.
Yeah, I think it's a very important piece because I've heard people say, well, it's kind of messy when you look in this room, or it looks kind of messy when you look in that. It's an issue, and I think it needs to be addressed.
Oversees and communicates about building organization and safety.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that one. Darcy's our
That's a
savior.
good one.
Trying
Oh,
my
what
best.
section are we gonna put that in?
Did you
Yeah.
get it, Nancy? Did you get it?
I got the gist of it, I think.
Say it again, Darcy.
Oversees and communicates about building organization and safety.
Does that fit for everybody? I don't know.
I think
Mary
that
Lou, did you
covers-
have anything more on that?
Well, if it has to be done tonight, I guess that might be the best we can do.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's, we can always tweak it again, like
Sure.
in another year, you know, if we
Sure.
come up with something, yeah.
Right.
I don't,
Yeah, if it has to be done tonight, that's the best we can do. We don't want to spend a lot more time on one item. But I think it's important. And I think people seeing organization have more faith in a process.
Yeah, I think definitely you'll need that comment section there too, so people can kind of be
Yes,
specific
absolutely
about.
on that.
about-
And if
Yeah.
people don't want to comment on it, well, then they don't have to. But that
Right.
would be a good one to certainly explain what your rating would be on that.
So going forward, the next step is we fill these out next month,
Yes. bring them in.
submit them to me.
Yep.
And we talk about them in November.
That was the timeline we set up, yeah.
Okay.
And will we need to meet as the subgroup again to,
I don't think so.
okay, but I'll make those changes, maybe
Sure,
send
yeah.
it to you to take a look at.
Yeah, I think,
And maybe Jan,
yeah.
she was there.
Sure.
What system do you have it on? Word or Excel? or-
Word.
Word, okay, so if you send it to Word, I could use that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, let's take a vote on this.
Yeah.
All those in favor of accepting the director's evaluation form as amended? Do I have a recommendation, anyone?
I'll make the motion.
And Lee seconds. All those in favor, Jay? Yes. Mary Lou,
yes,
Dan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bob, yes. And the quiet thing. Next is, I put on this, the Rebecca Oldman and Christy Farrer and actually the Bergen various emails that have gone around. There's a lot going on, right? We need to get involved with. The simplest one is probably the most challenging, is the floor plan measurements. And Steve gave Nancy and company the floor plan, if I can find it. And we've got the actual measurements. And I can't find it, but that's okay, here we go. And it's everything you need to know about the outer walls and the inner walls. And so now all we have to do is fill in the blanks. Darcy has already done a sketchy floor plan with the bookshelves as we talked, going straight down.
Rough plan.
What she hasn't done, she
Measures.
cheated. She didn't measure.
I cheated. It's me. A
So
cheater.
we need to come up with an accurate measurement of the outer wall, inner wall we have. If there are bookcases there that are gonna stay, we need to measure those accurately. Then we need to measure the aisle space accurately. And we need to measure the bookcases width and length accurately. So we can determine, can all this stuff goes in. So I think we need a subcommittee for a measurement. I'm willing to help out on this.
Sure, I'd be willing to.
Yeah, okay. So I think this is something we should do, within the next couple of weeks, so at least we'll
Mhm.
put it down. Now, everything else is a mixed bag. The grant has been approved. But do we have a list of what the potential cost is for all these items?
Bergen does, because she had to submit that
Yeah,
with the
so I think
application.
We need that, so that, and we need to look at what can be done prior to the topic, what needs to be, can be done after the topic, so we could do a planning. Now,
Mm.
Bergen will be obviously
Yes,
the
the leader,
person on
this,
that,
yes.
so. Then there's also the various recommendations from Christie Fowler. About streamlining what's in the bookcases. Doing something with the Friends of the Libraries, for sale books for all intents and purposes. So it's definitely a work in process. So I would like to ask everyone to go through and review those two memos in detail. And we could send you copies of them if I can't locate them. There's all kinds of recommendations about the shelving, getting rid of this, getting rid of that. And lightening the load. I think you mentioned that you got rid of a lot of books from that.
We have
So-
started the weeding process, so moving will be a bit easier, yes. But I don't think we've moved anything else yet.
One of the things you talked about is the signs over the different areas. You may want to look at that.
Yeah.
We've got the furniture issues, get rid of the sofa for the couch. Some of that potentially we could do now or
Yeah.
later. Now,
Okay.
that's not hurting, but it's the whole.
Yeah,
total move.
yeah, because I would have to come ask
Yeah,
for,
so if we have a very inviting little lounge area before the fact, it might generate some excitement.
yeah. I agree. I can come with very specific prices next meeting.
Okay,
So I can do definitely the inviting furniture.
I think you mentioned you already did something with the DVDs, so
Yes, we do have a plan to move them to a different bookcase, but we have plans to switch some bookcases. So I don't 100% know, so I don't want to speak to it quite yet, because don't quote me things.
did you have a chance to look at those shelves in the catacombs, the movable shelves?
Yes,
Are they usable or desirable to keep?
it's not movable, first of all. They're very, very heavy, but it's the type of shelf that we're talking about, the orange one, right?
I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
It's just
mentioned that they have
one.
These shelves downstairs.
It's one
Yeah, oh, just one.
one big one that needs to freestand in a space with a whole bunch of empty space. It's that type of shelf.
Oh, okay, so that I don't think we.
That's
The
the
space
reason.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it never, why it didn't really work when the children's room was rearranged. It's great. It's just not great for our specific space. Also, when we're talking about aesthetics, it's going to clash with our carpet. It's the
We can't have
carpet
that.
plan. The carpet we have planned is striped with brown and blue. It's like it's an orange. Like it doesn't.
Could it be painted?
Maybe, but it also, I don't know yet if we have the type of free space where we could have it freestanding. I have to kind of think about all the other shelving too.
Right, right.
All right.
It was on wheels, and I that was
It
one
It
of
is
the.
on wheels, yes.
Yeah.
When we do the measuring process that we're gonna do with the shelf, we can look at that to the dimensions of that and see if it is a space killer or not.
It is at least like 8 feet long.
Yeah, we looked at it. Darcy and I went down and looked at it. It is entirely apart. And I estimated that it's at least 7 to 8 feet long.
Oh, it is.
And it
yeah.
doesn't go against a wall. So it would
No.
end up being in the middle of a space.
You know how
So,
high
I
it
mean,
is?
my estimation was, perhaps it was usable for a while, but I don't really see it being that conducive to the space right now. Unfortunately. And because
Maybe it's
Bergen,
something, would it be hard to put together? Because maybe it's something that we could offer to another department that could use it.
well, that's totally possible. Somebody else might want it, but I think with the new things that Bergen's able to get with the grant, I think it just is a little bit too big
Yeah.
because we're so cramped on space. And I don't know if it could be painted or not, but it would be a heck of a lot of work with all the
Yeah.
different parts. And it is bright orange.
It's particularly bulky. It's a very bulky shelf.
And it's curved. So
curved.
you can't,
It is
you know,
curved, yes.
yeah, right. So anyways, I
So-
wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah. Is it something that, either, I mean, I know you were talking about other departments, but is it something that maybe another library might want? Maybe you could do a swap or something?
Maybe. I've been trying to look for pictures of it, both online and in our pictures, and I haven't had much luck yet.
We had
Yeah,
the booklet
I
and all
couldn't
the
find it
descriptions, and when it was put together, it's not that long ago. But it's nowhere to be found in the files, Darcy.
Not as far as I've seen yet. I still have more to
That's
go
too
through,
bad.
but
Yeah,
I
because
think-
that's, yeah.
it
I
was
think we
over a
should-
decade ago, though.
What was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I think we
Yep.
should see
It was
what
taken
what
apart in
Bergen is
2021.
getting and do the rearrangement. And then if there is a place for it, because I don't think there will be. But
Yeah,
I think we should not worry about it first. You know what I mean?
But based on the.
Like not try to fit a round peg into a square hole, which I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
might be what
based
we're
on the
doing.
Preliminary
Yeah,
drafts
yeah.
that people have done, there's no space. We're trying to fit a lot of stuff in.
Right.
more efficiently.
Yeah.
It has a
let's let
big
that go
footprint
and
for
plan.
only getting 2 shelves out of it.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately.
Any other questions on the big project that we have staring us in the face? Okay. My bad. I was hoping that we would get, and I think we'll put it for next time, the strategic action plan as a discussion item. Two reasons for that. One is some of them are scheduled to be completed, done, or whatever in fiscal year 24, which we're in right now. And the others, I think, we really should take a look at them now, as opposed to waiting till 26, 25, that's it. And look at 26, so. We'll, if everyone's okay, I'm sure no one's gonna object, scheduling that for next month, and we'll ask Darcy to put it up on the screen, so
Yes,
there's a lot of pages.
there are
So-
many
Oh,
pages.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
sounds good.
Any old
Is it
business?
it's on the website, right, Darcy?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Any old business that we want to bring up?
I have one thing. Do you want me to speak now, Bob?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I think at the last meeting, and maybe a meeting before that as well, I had brought up the fact that we had in the past received notification from the attorney handling the estate of Gerard Tibbetts and Mary Jane, it would come under as well. And we had received notification that the library would be the beneficiary of a remainder trust. And it was quite some time ago, and I don't remember how long ago. I
It was
remember
in
the name of the excuse me?
2022.
2022. Thank you, Mary Lou.
Yeah.
And so I had remember that what they were asking for at the time was someone to handle the trust. And when I look back on it, Terrence Beaton, who's from Groveland, attorney of Beaton, has an office in Haverhill. He was the one who was the person to be handling the trust, the trustee at the time. So I called him and was able to reach him right away. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, as a matter of fact, this is about 3 or 4 weeks ago I called Mary Lou.
Yeah, it
And
sounds, yeah.
yeah, and that the trust had been distributed. It was closing out, and the remainder trust was the last 2 beneficiaries for the remainder, the only 2 beneficiaries. Excuse me. For the remainder trust was the scholarship fund for the high school, Kentucky Scholarship Fund, and the Groveland Langley Adams Library. So he said that, going from memory, he had no paperwork right in front of him, but that the library would be receiving between $30,000 and $40,000 as our share of the Gerard and Mary Jane Tibbetts remainder trust. I asked at the time if that had to be, if a trust fund needed to be set up, and he said no, it didn't require a trust fund. There were no directives to the best of his memory. It was a gift to the library. So that should be coming within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, great.
Hey, hallelujah.
Thank you, Jerry.
Well,
That's good news.
So,
We should set
yep,
up,
I think we need to be
response.
very, very careful as to how we spend it. I know the only background I have in any of this is that when Mary Jane died, Jerry made a direct gift to the library of furniture for the children's room, which is the seating. It's armless seating. It was the most space advantaged setup, and I believe it's still there, isn't it, Darcy?
Is it the blue seating?
Yes,
Yeah,
a
then it's
sofa and a couple of chairs, but with no arms. I mean, it was to fit in their space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who the children's librarian was at the time. It wasn't all that long ago, but and I thought, we're talking about a redo of the library. I know that the grant is a wonderful thing, but it's not going to cover all the expenses of everything that we want to do. And there is a furniture grant. Did you happen to take a look at that? See the grant for furniture for a library? I think Bergen had told me about that.
Okay. I'll talk to her because
You might want to check with her. So over and above that kind of thing, we may want to look at using some of this very generous gift to help along with that.
Yeah.
But that's just an idea.
Hold on.
What, Bob? Speak up, Bob. I can't hear you. Your voice is faded.
Money, it'll be an open discussion of how best to
Yeah.
use it.
But that's just a suggestion I had when I thought about it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Any more good news? Kathy?
That's all the good news I have.
We'll really have to wait to see, make sure there aren't any stipulations on it.
Right, because he didn't have it in front of him. He said,
Yeah.
to his memory, there were no stipulations whatsoever,
And,
and no requirement as a trust. And he did the same when Mary Jane died. He didn't want a trust; he wanted a gift, and that's what he did.
Did, Darcy, were you able to find out about the Reardon Fund?
Not yet.
What was left in that?
No, I have not yet,
What
but
fund?
I'll make a note to
The Reardon Fund? Yeah.
Yeah, we discussed that last time.
myself.
Okay, thank you. Because that'll be important to know too.
Speaking of funds, it was very interesting when Rebecca was here that, we talked about state aid and these funds. And all of a sudden, she's pulling this name out of the sky where she can get money. So it seems like there are funds available in different pockets. So it just goes to show we need to keep town hall plugged into what we're doing, and hopefully they're going to keep us advised of what they're doing. Because a lot of times there are these funds that are there, and we just don't know about them. Any other communications from the public?
So I just wanted to check, are we getting the evaluations before next meeting or at next meeting?
They should be before, so we can have them, we can return them at the next meeting.
Okay,
And it would be helpful if you could send them to me whenever they're ready,
Right.
so I can consolidate them. But they're.
But then
considered
we're-
due next meeting,
They're due next meeting,
Yeah.
yeah.
they're due next.
but
meeting.
when they're consolidated, right, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna meet without Darcy to discuss it and then come up with a final one to present to her, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Now, if
Then
we're
that's-
discussing Darcy, we have to give her the option of being at a meeting. We can't discuss anyone without the person we're discussing being there.
Well.
She can choose not to be, but she doesn't have to.
no, my point is to present it to Darcy. Like the last time it was presented without us having talked about it before, and I found that confusing because there were different comments and stuff that was there, and I had questions about it, so maybe we should think about how we want to. I don't want to give Darcy the raw data, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Right, but we can't post a meeting that excludes the director.
But I thought you could do it in executive session.
In executive session, you have to notify the person you're discussing and give them the option of attending.
I understand that, but it can be done in executive session is what I'm trying to say.
I can opt out of
You
attending.
can opt out, but you don't
Right.
have to.
Right. I'm not saying she has to opt out. She can be there. It's fine with me, but I
Right.
think it's helpful if we understand each other's comments before it should be written up succinctly for Darcy's purposes too, with the goals and all that. We need to really think through how we're gonna evaluate. We need her goals too before we fill this out. We need the goals
Right.
that she had for last year. So that has to be part of it. We just have to be,
Right.
I think, a little bit more prepared to have all the information we need before she just gets raw data, because I just felt it was a little confusing last time.
I agree, yeah.
But we still can't post a meeting that excludes her.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should, but I think first of all, Darcy needs to get her goals, I think, to Nancy, right? So Nancy can put the goals in the form where it says, let's see, current year, goal, task, project for current year, so that that can be part of the evaluation. And then when we meet with Darcy, we work on the goals for the next year. Am I correct or no?
Yes.
That makes sense. I'll send you
Okay.
what I had written last year
yeah.
for this.
That would be really helpful. Thank you so much, Darcy and Nancy, putting that in.
Of course.
So let me.
So you'll be emailing those to us when they're ready, when it's all ready, you'll email it to us?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The form.
Do you
That
want
way
me
we
to
can-
do first
Nancy.
before I mail it to everybody, or?
No,
Or
I
you're
think,
just sending out the form.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make the correction.
Just email
Yeah,
the form, yeah,
fine.
The corrections and
Yeah.
fill in the goals from last year.
yeah, yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yes.
our next meeting, we expect to have all the forms completed.
Yeah.
And we will discuss
Yes,
Yeah.
with, or without Darcy.
with Darcy will have the option to be there or not.
So you're posting it as a meeting and then an executive session in the meeting. Is that
Right.
right?
Yes,
Now, is the whole meeting gonna be devoted to this?
don't think so, because you've got other things.
No,
that-
I don't think so.
We'll be in executive session for
Or a longer
a longer
days.
day, and then we'll come out of
Yeah,
it.
but maybe we put that at the end.
Yeah.
Do the executive session at the end.
Okay,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do I post that we're having an executive session?
Yes.
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 Oh,
yeah.
yes, it has to
Yeah.
be. And the reason,
MGL has
the
to be
reason has
cited.
to be posted as well.
Yeah, yeah, for the evaluation of the director, yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, the executive session, staff issues. or the recited evaluation.
No, I think, why don't you check with Beth Cuniff when you post it? But there's specific reasons that you can go into executive session.
Yeah.
And that has to be noted in the posting.
Because I know normally with situations like this, if you get a staff issue,
Right,
you go to executive session.
right, yeah.
This is.
I-
sorry, staff issue.
Yep.
I'll
You
check
just,
with,
I think you just say the evaluation of the, to discuss the evaluation of the director.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what you just,
Beth will know, because the selectmen do
Yeah.
it all the time, you know,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
discuss like a contract or something of a
yeah,
staff member.
yeah,
Yeah, she'll
Yeah.
definitely know. She's very thorough and
yeah.
knowledge of
She'll definitely
what
help
to
you with
write.
that.
Not that we don't want you here, Darcy.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's good to discuss things as a board as well. So I totally understand.
Okay,
okay, quick item, our next meeting is October 11th.
Yep.
I'll have a motion to adjourn at 7:01.
So move.
Second,
second,
all those in favor, Jay,
yes.
Mary Lou,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bob, yes.
Okay.
All right, stopping the